the client said, "Oh, I need to speak to my wife about this." And my service manager, Hunter, responded and he said, "Well, what if you don't? And you just surprised her with the lights as a gift." And he closed, a $1,500 holiday light job, just like that on the phone.
Welcome to Jobbers Masters of Home Service, a podcast for home service pros by home service pros. We're in Las Vegas, and today we're talking about closing more sales, converting more leads to boost your profits. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. Today's guests are Kristian Protic and Jackson Blackburn. Guys, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Kristian, go first. Tell us who you are and what you do.
So I'm Kristian. I am the president and owner of 365 Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, residential and commercial business in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. Been doing this now for almost 2 years with this company.
Welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Jackson?
Yeah, my name is Jackson. I own Mount Baker Window Cleaning Company in Bellingham, Washington, and I'm also a coach for Home Service Business Coach.
Cool. All right. I'm glad you guys are both here. I love sales. You guys both love sales. I love talking about sales because sales is the lifeblood of the business. So let's set the stage here. Let's pretend that our listeners just got a lead. Let's pretend you guys got a lead. What's your goal? What's your first step with how to handle that lead in the sales process? Jackson, you go first.
I want to get in contact with that lead as quickly as I can. If you can get to that lead in the first minute, you've got a huge chance of being able to close that job. Within 2 minutes, it falls a little bit. Once you get to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like 30 minutes, you've really shot your chance at being able to close that lead in a lot of situations. So the speed to lead is going to be hugely important for us.
Via text, via email, by phone? What are you talking about there?
Yeah, we'd like to give a phone call because we know we're going to have a really good, if they just filled out a form, we're going to have a really good shot of contacting them on their phone if we're able to call in the first couple minutes. If we can't get them on their phone, it goes to voicemail. We're going to shoot them a text message.
Got it.
Yeah, so we do the same thing. Phone call right away as soon as the lead comes in. Text message if they don't answer the phone. Ringless voicemail. So we do all that. Very important, I think, for the whole speed to lead thing. A lot of leads, they can come in really quick and be gone even faster. So yeah, I think it's important that you stay on top of it. One of my biggest things is making sure that as soon as it comes in, it's booked and then it's assigned to the right person. Once it's assigned to the right person, we sell, we install, and we collect. So I have a little acronym written in my office called BASIC, and that's what that stands for. So book, assign, sell, install, and collect.
That's awesome.
Explain that more. Let's drill down a little bit there. Explain that more.
Yeah, so it's an acronym I have on the board. So my CSRs in the office, it's kind of their Bible that they got to follow, right? It's like B for book. So as soon as a lead comes in, whether it's through Facebook or Google, the phone is ringing. The job of the CSR, the customer service rep, is to book that lead and then assign it. So the letter A is to assign. So our biggest thing is finding the right person for that lead, whether it's a service call, whether it's an in-home appointment for somebody looking at like a replacement furnace, air conditioner, stuff like that. Biggest thing is right person to the right lead. So that's assign, and then obviously selling it, install, and collect. One thing I've been hammering down on the last few months heavily is collecting. We've had a lot of outstanding jobs in the past where technicians leave the house, we don't collect payment. So that's been something that we've been, fine tuning more so to make sure that, doesn't slip through the crack and money isn't left on the table there.
Yeah. So Kristian has much higher ticket. So your version of booking is just getting a sales technician out there as fast as they can, and then they sell the job, right? You're not trying to do any sales over the phone, at least not hard close.
Sometimes we do. So my customer service reps are trained to sell smaller ticket items. So water treatment products, air purification products, stuff like that over the phone. Anything that requires, a furnace, an air conditioner, water heater, heat pump, anything of that nature. Either myself or somebody on the sales team will go into the home to discuss that with the homeowner.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jackson, you do book a lot of services over the phone. You get payment right away. So what's your approach to that first phone call?
So our system is, if we think that the job is going to be over $1,000, and mind you, we are in the exterior cleaning business, so that is a good ticket for us, right? If we think the job's going to be over $1,000, they're going to want to book multiple services. Or if that home is valued over $1 million, we're always going to send someone in person so that we can start building a really great relationship with that client, upsell more services, and really give them a good taste of the professionalism that we provide at Mount Baker Window Cleaning. If it's a smaller job, what I don't want to do is send out a sales rep to, six $400 window cleaning jobs, because A, they're not going to make enough commission on that. That's not fair to them. And then B, I'm losing efficiency in the business by not having them go and quote larger jobs. So I really believe that there's a really big play in just providing a quote, making it be very convenient for that client on that first phone call. Like, if we can get that client a price and get that deposit and get them on the schedule within 5 minutes of them calling us, right? That's a huge win for them, because at that point, their work is done. They don't need to pick up the phone and call another contractor
Check
to
it
get
off the
multiple
list.
quotes. Yeah, they've checked that task off their to-do list, and we're rolling in. So that's our sort of system for quoting.
What are the most important characteristics that a CSR has to make sure that you do book the person? Because it's not assumed, they might not like the CSR. You might say something wrong. What are some things that clients really care about in those first 5 minutes of that phone call that makes or break it? What do you guys think?
You need to have a conversation with them, right? You need to ask them questions about why they need that service, right? You need to start building that relationship from the beginning of the phone call. You can't just get on the phone and start describing everything, why your business is so great and why they should book with you. You need to talk with them. And once you can open them up into a conversation, you're going to have a much better chance of booking that client.
Yeah. Yeah. So the girls that I have in my office, they're trained to be really empathetic and really listen and hear out the client when they're, on the phone. Cause we got a lot of homeowners that call us with issues, right? Emergency repairs. There's a flood or there's no heat, no air conditioning, right? So we have to really understand their situation. So, they're just trained to really hear the client out, reassure them that we will fix whatever their problem is. We'll send out the right technician to the job, and, ultimately just providing that higher level of care. And, our goal at the end of it, obviously, is to book it, but we want to make sure that the customer feels comfortable going with us, right? Because, a lot of times, even from my experience before, it's like you call a handyman or you call somebody on Google, a lot of people aren't answering, right? So the fact that we do answer, we do want to make sure that we're providing a very high level of service and care for them.
Yeah. I like empathy a lot, and I think it matters a lot because someone calls you and their house is just totally nasty on the outside and it's all dirty and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, what's your name? What's your phone number?
Yeah.
What's your email? What's your address? Okay, we'll call you back. They're
Very
going
robotic.
to call the next guy, right?
Yeah.
They say, oh man, how long has it been so nasty? It's been nasty for years. My husband and is cheap and he won't let me, he's never wanted to pay for it. But how he said, yeah, so I'm calling you guys.
Yeah.
Now we're on the same team and we want to get our house washed now.
Yeah.
That's a totally different experience as the CSR to listen and say, well, okay, let's get it washed for you then. So it looks nice for your weekend, coming up.
Yeah.
And I just think empathy matters a lot as opposed to just the very robotic,
100%.
data-driven phone call. And that just doesn't really convert very well.
Yeah, you really need to listen to why people are asking for your service. So in my industry, let's say you could get a phone call for a roof cleaning. One person might want that because their insurance company is breathing down their neck and they need to get their roof cleaned for their insurance. And someone else might be calling just because, well, they used to do it themselves and they've gotten too old now. They don't want to get up on a ladder and their roof looks bad, right? But we need to figure out why that is that they need their service so we can start to specifically meet their needs. Just like if you'd walk into a suit store, to get a custom tailored suit, it's going to be more expensive, right? But people are willing to pay for that because it fits them really well. So we need to figure out how we can best serve our clients, like what to prescribe them in a way, what to sell them so that it fits for them. And people are willing to pay a really good price if they think that your service is really going to solve their issues.
I think my two favorite questions in the phone call is what else? They call you for X, but then anything else? Well, as a matter of fact, yeah, I want you to check this out while you're here too. Great. Anything else? Well, yeah, actually, and you keep asking until you finally say, no, that's it. That's all I got. Okay, great. If we could solve blank, blank, blank for you, and the price is right, would you want to move forward? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Great. And that gets you a soft yes. So then, great. Okay, well, let's send someone out and get someone out there. I just love getting a soft yes on the phone because then you're just one step closer to yes once the technician actually arrives at the house. And I also love the question, why, right? Like, why did you call us? Why do you say that's important to you? Why do we have to come out today? Why can't we come out tomorrow? Why? I just love peeling back the onion and find out the real reason the client's calling.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you are asking questions, at least in the beginning of the sales process, you really want to be asking those open-ended questions. You don't want to be asking questions where you get the client saying no.
Right.
Towards the end, then you want to start asking questions where you know that the response is going to be a yes.
Yeah.
Right. Because then you're one step closer to that final yes to close the deal.
Yeah. In terms of follow-up, let's say you booked the appointment or sent a quote and they haven't approved yet. What are some of the best forms of follow-up that you guys have found to be most effective?
So we just started using Chirp recently. We integrated it with Jobber. And yeah, we found that it's great just because you're not letting really anything slip through the cracks. I sat down with one of the CSRs a couple months before I ended up using Chirp. And I realized how much money we were leaving out on the table because our follow-up process wasn't there. It was non-existent, right? We'd send out a lead or we'd send out an estimate, if we didn't close something in the home. And weeks go by, months go by, and there were maybe one or two touch points after that, right? And then we call some of these clients back and see if they're still interested. And they're like, oh, we went with somebody else, right? And so I recently introduced Chirp, and now I'm finding that communication is a lot more stable. You're not letting clients kind of dictate, when they're going to reach out, wait for them. Because we all know in being in home service, there's clients that you send out an estimate. They're like, okay, we'll talk to my husband, we'll talk to my wife, and we'll get back to you. And they never do, right? So having those safeguards in place with something like an automation tool like Chirp, where, there is a follow-up, you can, get them engaged via text, via email, stuff like that. I think it's really important. So
yeah, Chirp's incredible. We just started using Chirp earlier this year as well, and it's definitely boosted our conversion ratio.
I'm still getting the hang of it because we just started like 4 or 5 weeks ago, but I can definitely see the value.
Yeah.
It's amazing what a text 7 days later does. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to approve that quote. I'm ready to approve.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Just a little bit of follow-up can really boost your conversion rate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. The text follow-up is fantastic. If you're not utilizing text follow-up, it's time to jump on. You don't want to miss that train. And then as far as like the best forms of follow-up, you got to hit every channel. Some clients are going to prefer that you email them, right? Maybe some of the grandmas out there still appreciate that email. The occasional still like some snail mail, which I've done recently. Not my favorite thing to have to go to the post office and send a quote, but it still happens. Some people like phone calls. Some people like texting, right? So you need to hit all those channels to make sure that you're not leaving money out on the table, and then be persistent. Like you got to realize that you're not being a nuisance until you get a hard no from somebody.
We got bills to pay, man. You got to go after it. You got to be hungry.
You called me, client called us, right? Like we're just following up.
Yeah.
So now we're at the house. We're meeting with a client and they're ready to hear what we have to say. And we drive up to the house. What does your sales process look like for your companies?
So we always try and make a friend. If we have one goal during that meeting with a client, it is to walk away with a new friend, right? So that's going to be the first step in that process.
I like that. Our biggest thing. So I have all of our trucks are like fully wrapped. One of our biggest things is like always pulling up to the house. Truck is parked right outside. Client can see the van. We're presentable in our uniforms and all that, clean cut. And just like you said, making a friend, because the biggest thing for these homeowners is that they want to purchase from somebody that they trust, somebody that they like. So at the end of the day, that's really all you got to do is just got to go there, be personable, make a friend, smile, be happy.
Yeah.
You know, provide the solution that they need. And, you know, more often than not, you're going to be the choice that they go with.
Yeah.
Right.
Park on the street, not on the driveway, right? You don't want to run in
I
like.
totally
like
disagree. Totally
Really?
disagree.
You
Yep.
just park right in the driveway.
Friends park in the driveway.
Wow. Okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I bet that you knock on the door instead of ringing the doorbell, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, at least we're on even ground there.
we both not.
Both agree there.
Yeah. Do you bang or do you actually do the friendly?
No. I give one knuckle.
One knuckle.
One knuckle.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
See, we park in the driveway once we've gotten the deal and we're there to install something.
Okay.
That's when we'll park in the driveway. We'll back the van up, open the garage or side door, basement, whatever. That's when we'll do that. But prior to that, we're always parked on the side.
Why?
For me, it's like I've spent so much money on my branding. I want them to see the truck or the trucks like front and center, right? They open the door. I just recently ordered doormats with our company's logo and everything. So now what we're going to do is lay a doormat down. And then when the client opens the door, that's the first thing they see. They see that technician or a salesperson, whatever, you know, with in front of a doormat, has booties on, ready to put on over the shoes. And you just see a nice branded truck outside.
Gotcha.
It's like, it's an instant feeling of trust, right? And we're not cheap. We're one of the more higher priced companies in our area. So I want the client to feel like they're getting their money's worth, right? I want them to see like, hey, this is the value that this company is providing me when I'm paying, you know, double or triple than the next guy, right? So
Yeah. What are some common mistakes you've seen other business owners make or that you've made in the past in the sales process? You get to the house and what are some mistakes that people can easily avoid when they're talking to clients and trying to pitch their deal?
Bashing other companies would be one.
yeah, that's
you
a big one.
Yeah,
Good one.
you always want to hold you know, a high level of respect for the competition out there. You definitely like you will lower your status in that client's mind if you start bashing other companies.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a quote from them? Like I would be cautious about that. You don't need to say that.
No, there.
So what do you say? Because there is a difference. So how do you balance that?
What I like to do and what I teach my guys is I like to have us talk about what we're great at and what we're going to do for the client, right? Because a lot of like competition in my area, for instance, their whole thing is just selling you like the lowest priced option, right? I don't want to do that. I want to come in there higher priced, but build a lot of value and have the client see that, right? So
Yeah, and for us, we have a what we call a service packet. It's a nice folder. It's branded, and it's not something that a lot of window cleaning or exterior cleaning companies are going to have, which gives us a leg up on the competition.
yeah.
It's got our certificate of liability insurance. It has a contractor hiring checklist, so that when that client is actually looking at other quotes, they can read through our checklist. Hey, how many Google reviews do they have? Are they actually licensed and bonded and insured? Right? Do they have background checked employees? And it gives us a really big leg up on the competition. So we don't need to go in and badmouth any of the other competitors in our area because the value that we bring to the table is pretty evident.
Yeah, you're showing them with that package why you're the best
Exactly.
for what you do, right?
Right.
Anything else that's unique to your sales process that you could share with the listeners? One of my favorites is, so I like to be proactive with objections. And so if someone says, you know, I had so-and-so out here last year to clean my gutters and I don't even know if they did a good job or not because I can't see inside my gutters, right? Because they're not going to put a ladder up. Say, would you like to have some photos afterwards when we're done? I don't tell them we're going to send them photos because as soon as you tell them, oh, I don't even want photos. But if you say, do you want photos? Yeah, I love photos. Great, I can send you. Now we're going to do it either way. But when you ask them, do you want some photos? You're proactively overcoming that objection that they don't even trust that you're going to do the work in the first place. Well, how do I know you guys are actually doing? I can't see up there. Well, we'll send you photos. It's too late. Then like, yeah, you're just trying to beg for the business.
Yeah.
If you proactively say whatever the objection is and then overcome it beforehand, then they're like, well, that's what I was going to say next, but now you took it out of my mouth, so now I can't say it. I guess I'll just sign up. Fellas, I want to take a minute to pause and talk about why we love Jobbers so much. How does Jobber help you with your sales process? Like, how does it help you really wow your clients in that sales methods?
I love one of the new features where you can see a sales rep report and you can see what your conversion rate is as an individual salesperson, the amount of jobs that or quotes that you've sent, the price attached to that as well. So it kind of creates this friendly competition between sales reps where they want to one up each other and increase their conversion rate, or maybe sell some higher ticket jobs. So that's really neat. I love that feature.
It's also great for your CSR too.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm a big fan of the quoting feature inside of Jobber. I love that you can add PDFs and photos of the different line items, add optional line items. So we do that a lot for extended warranties. Clients see that, and most of the time they just click yes and they accept it. So yeah.
I like Jobber's integration with WiseTech for consumer financing. It goes right into the quote at the bottom. They can click that, finance their quote. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of that.
Man, I love Jobber's integration with Gusto. I just found out about that the other day.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Payroll's done in 5 minutes.
Bingo, bango.
It's amazing.
If you want all those sweet features too, you need to start using Jobber today. Go to jobber.com/podcast deal. New users can get exclusive discount and get all those sweet features now. I want to talk about price because price is one of the biggest factors in the sales process. What do you guys think about price transparency? How much do you tell the client about the price and what it gets them? And maybe do you even put pricing on your website? Let's talk about pricing and how you approach it with your client so that they trust you, but you also don't give away too much.
So in our market, we like to lead with a monthly payment or a biweekly payment. For our products and services, I've found over the years, a lot of the bigger, larger companies, that's kind of how they get their foot in the door with their marketing, is they hook clients with, get a water heater for $30 a month. And then they include, full warranty, maintenance, stuff like that in that price. So we've definitely shifted our focus to doing that as well. Found pretty good results from doing that, especially in today's economy. After COVID, a lot of people are strapped for cash and, pulling from lines of credit and this and that, or paying with credit cards. So if you can give them a monthly option with a good interest rate, that might make more sense for them.
We don't put any prices on our website, and that's just for the reason that I don't want someone selecting our service because of the price. I want them to choose us as their service provider because of the reviews that we have, because of the brand reputation that we've built, right? Because of the value that we're going to bring them. Like, those are the things that I want people to choose our service. So it's not going to be price. If you do put price on your website, what could end up happening is that you get price shoppers, right? And those aren't my avatar clientele. And obviously, we're going to be transparent with the price once we go to give a quote. The price is never going to change. Our price book is standardized by square footage. Really easy for us to give clients those prices, but it's not listed anywhere, right? I don't want people to also see a high price and not have had the chance to chat with anyone on our team, right? I want to have that opportunity to provide value and show them what kind of company we are before we're giving them a price that might be 3 times as much as Bucket Bob down the road. They don't know the difference yet because they haven't met us.
Yeah, that's true. But I think the other side would say you're exactly right. It does get rid of price shoppers, because if you put your prices on your website and it's too high for people, they won't even bother calling you. So there's that. And I also think that there's a certain amount of trust that people gain from you if you are willing to put pricing up there. Everyone knows that you're not going to hold you to it, to the dollar. Everyone knows it's a range, but I see both sides, and I think it depends on your industry too, and what kind of leads you're trying to get and what kind of calls you're trying to get. But I do think there's value in at least experimenting with putting pricing on your website.
Yeah.
So that you can say, homes that are 2,500 square feet to 4,000 are usually about $600, and do that something like a tier. That way, people, when they call and you say, "Have you been on our website and seen the pricing?" Yeah, I think my house is about $600. And you look at the pricing sheet and it is, you're like, she's gonna be easy to close because she knew what to expect when she called. So I'm a fan, but I can also see how you can lose some calls because they won't even call you. But I think it both ways.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we've got a big company in Toronto, and their whole business model is just having an online shop.
Oh, wow.
Right. And like their SEO is crazy. They're always coming up at the top of Google. And a lot of people go there, and we get a lot of clients that are like, "Oh, but we've seen, this same exact model that's on this website and this is the price. Why are you offering the same thing but higher, right? And it's like trying to differentiate, it's like, well, all of our installers are in-house. They sub out all their work, right? They don't really have an office. They don't have overhead. They just got a website and they're basically drop shipping equipment to people, right? So it's a different business model, right? So that's why their pricing is set at where it's at, and it's a more volume-based business, right? Whereas we're offering a more personal touch.
Jackson, what do you think is the biggest misconception with your clients about pressure washing a home?
Well, a lot of our clients think that we're actually going to use pressure, right, on the house. Don't want to get too technical here.
Pressure washing. Why do they think that?
Yeah, but that's probably the biggest misconception that we have.
Is that part of your sales process, like educating them on how you're actually going to do the work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we like to be clear that we're going to be soft washing their house and not using pressure because it is safer for their home. There's less chance that we're going to damage anything there, right? You get a better end result with our process. And so, yeah, it's going to be something that we're going to talk about. But, again, it's not like selling for us isn't as much as us like propping ourselves up and talking about how great we are at doing the service. It's more of like, hey, we're going to fit your needs, right? Like just like we were talking earlier, if someone calls and they say, hey, my insurance company's breathing down my neck, I don't need to explain like what soft washing is. All I need to do is say, awesome, no worries. We've done this for plenty of clients before in the same situation. What we're going to do is we're going to kill all the moss on your roof. We're going to write up a detailed report with photos in a PDF. We're going to send it to you, and we can even forward it to that insurance company if you would like, with your name and address on it so that they have that. Boom. Their solution is solved.
Yeah, they're not going to call anybody else. They're going to go with you. That's I love that. What happens if a client they have your quote, they haven't approved it yet, and they call back and they want to ask more questions, but their questions are more like objections? How do you handle those?
So we have sales scripts that outline how to deal with specific types of objections. And just the other day, so proud of my service manager, he told me that he was able to close this deal in the most incredible way. And what happened was he was following up on a quote that was still awaiting response for installing holiday lights on someone's home. And the client said, oh, I need to speak to my wife about this. And my service manager, Hunter, responded and he said, well, what if you don't and you just surprised her with the lights as a gift? And he closed, a $1,500 holiday light job just like that on the phone. I'm like, man, yeah, how about you don't? No, it's just an incredible objection. So if you're not trained yourself on handling objections, definitely seek some training in that, right? Get some scripts together. And same thing goes for your staff, right? You're going to want if you got a CSR, they got to be trained to handle objections, whether that be price, service, etc. If you got sales representatives, absolutely. They need to be trained in that as well. So it's really good to just have like kind of an arsenal of responses to be able to handle these different types of objections that you might come across.
Yeah, my dad's one of the best salespeople I know. And he always says, you should never be surprised by an objection. You do this all day long for years. Nothing the client says should ever surprise you. You should be ready for everything they say. You should be prepared for 20 objections. The poor thing, they only have 2 or 3 before they're done. They give 2 or 3 and then they don't have anything else to say. We should be trained for 20 objections and they'll just hit them just quick like that.
Right. And I think if you are getting there's, especially in the exterior cleaning industry, you're going to see, if you're a premium price business, you're going to get a ton of price objections. It's just going to happen as you grow your business. But if you're getting them just so often, then I think that you need to figure out a better way for you to address your clients' specific needs. Because if you really are addressing their specific needs, then they should be able to see the value in your service is better than or equal to, right, the price that you've quoted them for.
Yeah, if you're constantly getting objections, you're doing something wrong before that.
Right,
exactly. You need to address, yeah. This is a great conversation. I'm going to try to boil it down to 3 actionable items here. Number 1 is speed to lead. The faster you get to the lead, the better chance you have of closing it. Number 2 is ask questions. Find out what the real reason they're calling. It may not just be what they want their house washed. They might want their house washed for a specific event, or it's been driving them crazy for years and they finally were able to pull the trigger. You want to know those kinds of reasons, not just, yeah, we can wash your house for you. And number 3 is don't bash the competition. You can compare your services to other companies without bashing them. And that's what you really want to do. Guys, this is great. How do people find out more about you? Kristian?
Go on any of the social channels, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google, 365 Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Yeah, and if you want to look up Mount Baker Window Cleaning Company, you can find us on Google, and then also homeservicebusinesscoach.com.
Sweet. Well, you guys are really having a huge impact on your employees, the staff that you hire, the clients that you serve. So keep making the big impact. It's making a big difference.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. I hope that you heard something today that will make your sales process better and boost your conversion rates. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. You can find me at adamsylvester.com. Your team and your clients deserve your very best, so go give it to them.